Hello guys, good morning. So today we are going to start from where we stopped last time. We stopped halfway down the price slideshow, right? So we're going to start from that point, then continue. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Give me a minute. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay. So you guys might remember last time we talked about this and many other things. Like this is one of the concepts we talked about, target profit pricing, and we talked about this break-even chart, and we talked about this point where the total revenue crosses the total cost. Right at this point, the total revenue is equal to the total cost, and then this gap when the total revenue goes up like this, passing through the total cost curve, this gap gives you the return, okay? Like the profit that you are making. So when the gap gets bigger and bigger, your returns increase, okay? So we talked about this last time. So continuing from that point onwards, we talked about this one as well, where we said there's perceived value. Perceived value might not be how much the product is actually worth. That is the concept, the idea the customer has about the product in his or her mind, right? So sometimes, so it is much higher than the cost of the actual product. Cost is internal. Cost is all about like how much money did the company have to spend. Okay, how much money did the company have to spend in order to create that product? But if the customer has a much higher value in his or her mind, if the customer thinks that this product is much more worth than that, then we can of course sell it at a higher price. Okay, so it all depends on the perceived value. Perceive means we feel something. Perceive means we feel something. Okay, perception means like your feeling. Okay, so how much do you feel this is worth? Might not be how much it is actually worth. Okay, so a luxury watch like this might be worth much more than the actual cost of that product to the customer. Then he or she will pay much more than its actual worth to buy that product. So that is what we mean by setting a price based on the perceived value. Okay. And then good value pricing is also somewhat related to perceived value. So it's like, so we are talking about customer value-based pricing, right? So all of this is discussed under customer value-based pricing. Okay. So these perceived, making use of perceived value and this good value pricing, they are all based on, they all come under customer value-based pricing. Okay. So because we talked about two costing strategies like cost-based pricing and value-based pricing, right? Cost-based pricing, we talked about it because that is based on how much did the company have to spend to create that product. Okay, that is based on that cost. Now, good value pricing is like a scaled down version of value-based pricing. So again, it is based on value. Again, based on value. But here we are setting a much fairer price. Fairer price. Like we could have at least gone for a higher price, but we are not doing that. We are being a little bit fair. Okay. So we know that the price that we set for this product is higher than the actual cost of the product. As the company, we know that. Okay. We know that the actual cost of this product is quite lower than this. But unlike in like a fully blown version of value-based pricing, where you can have like, you can charge the customer huge amounts for a luxury product, here we are setting a much fairer price, more reasonable price, but still it is higher. Like there's a quite high margin between the actual cost and the price that we set. So it's a good value pricing is offering just the right combination of quality and good service at a fair price. Okay, at a fair price. Okay, so here it says the art of seduction at a price reduction. So I mean, this is like a low-end car of the Mercedes-Benz product line. Okay, so CLA class coupe. So for example, Mercedes-Benz in 2014 releases CLA class entry-level models starting at $31,500. Okay, so this is kind of a low-end category, but so this is quite affordable, but still above average. Okay, above average. So that is good value pricing. You are not being unreasonably high in setting the price. You are setting a good value. Okay, right combination of quality and good service coupled with a fair price. That is good value pricing. But still, this comes under value-based pricing. Okay. So when you're introducing a new product to the market, so you might be new to the market, your company might be new to the market, your company might not be new to the market. Okay, so there can be two scenarios. You are a new player in the market. You didn't have any products before, but your company just opened and you are coming up with this new product. Or else your company has been in the market for like a couple of years now, but and now you are introducing this new version. Okay, so when you are doing that, there are two main strategies that you can use to set the prices. One is the market skimming pricing, and the other one is market penetration pricing. Okay, so we will look at each one of them in more detail. First one, we have market skimming pricing. Okay, market skimming. When you say like a skimming is like taking something from the top layer, skimming it off. Okay, so what do you do? So for example, I think there were some hilarious videos made about this, the differences between different versions of Apple iPhone. Like they are not very different from each other. Some people had that opinion and they wanted to make some funny videos based on that. So it's like when Apple is releasing a new iPhone to the market, they start at a very high price. And then gradually, like year by year, the price goes down. And then after like approximately 2 years or 1.5 years, they release another version at a higher price and then slowly bring it down. So that the difference in the characteristics or the facilities available in any two successive versions of iPhone might not be that high. Like they're like almost the same phone, but with a minute set of extra features. That might be the case, but still they are like charging you a much higher price at the beginning. Okay, so that has been made possible due to the fact that Apple iPhone does not have any like substantial amount of competitors for their product in the market. for people who buy Apple iPhones, they just keep on buying that. There is no competitor at that same level to offer the same sort of product, okay? Because a person who buys a Redmi or like normal Samsung phone, they are willing to pay a little bit lower amount of money. They are a lower budget usually. They don't usually go straight from a Samsung to a iPhone like that. The people who buy iPhone, they keep on buying iPhone. Okay, so that means like they don't have that many competitors. So that is one reason. Okay, so many companies that invent new products set high initial prices to skim revenues layer by layer. Apple uses this strategy. It's called market skimming. And with each new generation, whenever there is a new model, they start at a higher price and they slowly, gradually bring it down. So this is a way of making some extra buck, right? So each year they can do this, or each 2 years they can do this. Now these are the conditions under which this skimming strategy might be successful. Product quality and image, definitely. I mean, person who has used an iPhone, they know that its quality is like unparalleled, right? I mean, 2 GB RAM from an iPhone cannot be directly compared with the 2 GB RAM from a Samsung phone. It's like that 2 GB RAM is being optimized in a much better way in the iPhone. Usually, even after opening like multiple apps, the lag between like switching from one app to the other app is like not that noticeable, right? They don't get stuck that many. So it's like a quality product, okay? And enough buyers must want the product at that price. So there are people waiting until the next version of iPhone. They just start, the moment they buy this version, the current version, from that point onwards, they start saving money for the next version. There is like a whole category of people like that. They're just waiting for the next version to be released to buy that version. So there should be enough buyers like that, okay, who are ready to purchase that new version even at a higher price. Otherwise, this market skimming strategy is not going to work, okay? So third one, the cost of producing a smaller volume cannot be so high that they cancel the advantage of charging more. Okay. So although they are charging a higher price after adding a couple of new features, do you think it's going to cost the Apple company a lot more? It's not the case. To add those couple of features, it might not cost them that much. Okay. From their side, it's just so easy to do that. But from our side, from the customer's side, the customer is going to pay a larger sum of money for the addition of those couple of new features. Okay. So for this strategy to work, it should be easy to produce this, because at the very beginning of releasing a new version, they're not going to make that many copies. But for even the lower number of copies, they are only going to spend relatively similar amount of money they did for the previous version. Okay. So that's what it's saying here. The cost of producing a smaller volume cannot be so high. For the company, it cannot be so high that they cancel the advantage of charging more. Okay. Competitors should not be able to enter the market easily. Yeah. So if somebody is offering the same features, same quality, right, at a much lower price, then this strategy is not going to work. Okay. So Guys, I have a video for this, so you might want to listen to that video. Okay, so we have the skimming strategy here. And
Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the common pricing strategy known as price skimming. Now, price skimming is a pricing strategy that's very commonly used for pricing new products. And the reason is it involves setting high prices for the purpose of covering developmental costs and really increasing the level of profit that a company yields from a product. Now, price skimming is not appropriate in all situations, but it can be a very effective pricing strategy if used correctly. Now, in order to consider where it's appropriate, there's a couple of things that have to exist for price skimming to really be appropriate. The first of which is it generally has to be a new product. Price skimming is generally not appropriate for existing products simply because of the fact that there's an availability of substitutes. And price skimming usually works most effectively when it is a brand new product in a market and there's really limited competition. And because there's limited competition, the company is given a little bit more leeway in terms of its pricing strategy and can justify a higher price initially. If competitors begin to enter the market, it becomes more difficult to be able to justify the higher prices when there's cheaper alternatives available. The other element that's important is that consumers need to be price inelastic. And what that means is customers are not price sensitive. If you're in a market where consumers are very price sensitive, where if you increase prices, they drastically decrease the amount of a product they demand, then that's not going to be very conducive to utilizing price skimming. The correct environment, or at least the proper environment for price skimming, involves one in which consumers are not very price sensitive. So if you have a higher price, they're willing to pay that. The other element that's important is you generally need to be selling a superior product of some kind. And this is important to justify the higher price point. We know that there is a kind of a psychological aspect of pricing, so that if we do price higher, consumers generally assume that it's a better quality product. But of course, it needs to be a better quality product to hold up to that perception. If people purchase it and it doesn't match their expectations of quality that were largely established based on the price point, then there's going to be some issues that could tarnish the image of the company. The other element that can exist to make price skimming a very effective strategy is intellectual property. If there are patents that exist that prevent other companies from offering the product or producing it for a period of time, it could be pharmaceuticals, could be electronic devices, that can create the conditions where price skimming can be an effective strategy. Now that we're familiar with in what situations price skimming actually is effective, let's look at a visual of how price skimming would work from an economic standpoint and over a period of time. Price skimming is not a short-term strategy. It's utilized over a long term. And so we're going to go through some of the different elements that would kind of necessitate a change to our pricing. So on the y-axis, this is going to represent the price of a product. And on the x-axis, this is going to represent the quantity that is demanded of that product. And so this is quantity demanded from the market here. Now we know from basic economics that as a price decreases, consumers are willing to demand more of them, and that just intuitively makes sense. If you look at what goes on in retail markets when there's different promotions, those sales promotions are done with the intent of increasing the quantity demanded by decreasing the price temporarily. Now, what price skimming, how this works, is what we're going to be doing is at different levels, we're going to be changing our prices. And so we might start our price here, and then we might decrease our price over time for the purpose of moving more products. Now, how we kind of make these changes depends upon the demand of the product over a period of time. Generally speaking, with price skimming, our idea is that we're going to charge a high price at the beginning. And this is done because we're usually targeting the early adopter. We don't have a great deal of competition in the market, so there's no reason for us to charge a lower price because we're not competing with anyone. The other aspect is because we are just producing the product, there's a lot of developmental costs that go along with creating a new product. And the hope of the business is that they would be able to recover those costs quickly before new entrants begin to enter the market. And then, of course, the company has to reduce prices in order to stay relevant since substitutes are available. Now, over a period of time, we begin to run out of the early adopter. All the early adopters have purchased the product. And so what the company is forced to do is the company is forced to reduce its prices. And this is done simply to continue to sell products. And so we might lower prices to attract maybe, let's say, a mainstream consumer. And this is going to be kind of your average consumer. Doesn't need to be the first person to be able to use the product, but certainly has a need for it. But then at some point, we kind of run out of the mainstream consumer. And so we have to price our product lower yet again to go after another segment of the market. And this might be our late adopter, right? The person who under normal circumstances wouldn't purchase the product, but because the price is so low, there's an incentive to do so. So that's how price skimming gets its name. What we do is kind of similar to how you would skim a pool. If you're familiar with maintaining pools and that process of skimming that first top layer to get all the debris and different things that accumulate in pools, we're doing the same thing to the market. So we're skimming that first layer of consumer that's not very price sensitive because we're trying to maintain as much profitability as we can early on. And when we run out of that consumer, when our sales begin to slow, when the quantity of our units sold begin to decrease, we drop prices and we go after that next layer of consumers. And then once we've ended up kind of saturating that market as well, we drop our price yet again and we go after the next layer of consumers. And so that's how price skimming kind of got its name. It's all about pricing our products higher initially, but beginning to lower them over a period of time. Now, as far as some examples on pricing, you can look at these in a number of different areas. Electronic products typically fall under some kind of price skimming. And so if you look at video game consoles and how they're sold, they generally start at a higher price because there's not a great deal of competition and they're trying to recover those developmental costs. But over a period of time, they begin to decrease. And by the time the new model comes out, they're selling them for maybe $100 to $200. Kind of the same thing with smartphones as well. When a new phone comes out, like an iPhone, for example, its retail will be from anywhere from $700 to $750 to upwards of $1,000, depending upon the hard drive space and those types of things. And gradually, though, as new models come out, the previous one begins to decrease in price. And by the time it's maybe 2 or 3 models old, it's practically given away with a contract or sold for a very, very low price. Those are both examples of price skimming. So you do see them quite a bit with electronic devices, but you also see them in other areas.
Okay, guys, so I think you got the idea. So as you saw in that video, so they are targeting different layers of customers as the time goes by. At the very beginning, they are targeting the top layer, where you have the customers who are not very sensitive to price, and then they keep on decreasing the price to target different layers of customers in the market. Okay, so people who are not willing to pay that much money, so those are different layers of customers. So as time goes by, it's going to target those different layers by changing the price. But by changing, I mean lowering the price. Okay. So that is one strategy when you're introducing a new product. The other one is market penetration pricing. So penetration means you go deeper and deeper, right? So that is what we mean by penetration. So that means this strategy is all about getting a higher market share. That means in the market, you're going to go deeper and deeper into the market using your product. That means more and more people are going to buy your product. That is what we mean by penetrating the market. That means increasing the market share. Okay, so if you want to increase the market share, then definitely you're going to start at a lower price. So rather than setting a high initial price to skim off small but profitable market segments, some companies use market penetration. Okay, that's I said. Companies set a lower initial price to penetrate the market quickly and deeply. So more and more people are going to buy the product because it's a low price. Okay, the high sales volume results in falling costs, allowing companies to cut the prices even further. Okay, so they are going to produce these goods in like a bulky numbers, like in bulk. Okay, higher sales volume, many units produced at once, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 units produced. So that means the high sales volume. Okay, so they produce a lot and they sell a lot, and then cost per unit is going to decrease. Okay, so they are going to even produce even more when that keeps on happening. So one example is this surfboards by this company called Agit Global. Okay, so they came up with these surfboards, which they termed Wavestorm. Okay, so usually at the time when they first were starting to introduce these Wavestorm surfboards, in the market, the price for a surfboard started somewhere around $300 and then went up to like all the way to like $1,000. Okay, so what they want to do was like $300 and like $1,000. That's going to be like, not everyone has that amount of money to spend on a surfboard. Okay, so they wanted to make these surfboards much more accessible to the general public, much more accessible. So they thought like, how about we bring this price down to $100? Okay, so we are going to sell our surfboards at $100. Okay, we are going to make sure that it keeps to that amount. So they started, for example, Skinny. For example, it sells an entry-level 8-foot blue and white Wavestorm board at Costco for only $99.99. So thanks to penetration pricing, Wavestorm is now the market leader. So what happened after that was a big transformation. So everybody started to buying these Agit Global Wavestorm surfboards. They didn't want to spend $300 and $1,000. It may be, so what they wanted to make sure was that for $100, are they getting a good enough product? So this Agit Global made sure that they are producing a surfboard that is of good quality, $100 and at the same time good quality. And they are producing in large numbers. So their cost per unit is going to be lower as well. And this strategy really worked. And then many people, they just gave up on other brands that they had been buying, and they started buying the surfboards from Agit Global. So that is like, they set a new price to the surfboard market by introducing this quality product, which they started selling at a lower price. So more and more people bought that product. So it went deeper and deeper into the market. That means it penetrated the market. Okay, that is what you mean by market penetration. Penetrated the market deeper and deeper. That means more and more people started buying that product because they started at a lower price. Okay. So that is an example of market penetration. So that is like the opposite of what we talked about earlier. That is market skimming. You start at a high price and then gradually decrease the price with time. Okay, to target different layers of customers in the market. But here you start at a lower price so that more and more people, they're going to buy your product, and then you have a higher market share and your product penetrates the market deeper and deeper. Okay. So I think you get the idea. So actually, I mean, there's another video for that, but I think, so Yeah, but I think you got the idea even without the video, I think so. Okay. Take some time to... So I think, yeah, we will just move on to the next concept. So the conditions for market penetration. So in my slides, actually, I had made a small mistake here. I had written conditions for market segmentation to work. So that segmentation has to be replaced by penetration. So that's why what I've shown here. So the market must be highly price sensitive, Okay, so that means when you lower the price, people should turn in your direction. But if they are not that much sensitive, like if they are okay with paying $300 for a surfboard and they are happy with the quality of that product, then even if you start with a lower price, you might not get that many customers. So you have to look at the market, do a survey and decide, is this market price sensitive or not? If from your survey, you are definitely sure that this is a price sensitive market, then you can go ahead with your strategy of lowering the price. Okay, then many people will start buying your product. Production and distribution costs must decrease as sales volume increases. So as the number of units your company produces is going to increase, the production cost per unit and the distribution cost per unit, they must come down. I mean, this is something that generally happens. We talked about this last time. When you're starting new, you don't have that much expertise, experience about how to make the product. So the initial costs might be high. But as you gain more and more experience and expertise on how to make the product, and as you find more shortcuts, right? You find better suppliers, then you are going to get like, you're going to become the leader, the expert of making that product. So your costs are going to go down. So that should be the case for this strategy to work. The low price must help keep out the competition. So there should, like, if everybody starts selling at this price, again, it's not going to work. So by selling at this lower price, you should be able to drive away the competitors, because the people who were selling a surfboard at $1,000, they're not going to suddenly drop that price to $100 just because you decrease the price, right? That should be the case. I mean, that is generally the case, right? They're not going to decrease the price from 1,000 to 100. So what should happen is, like, now they are going to have to reconsider. Now we can't keep on selling at $1,000. There is this new guy who is selling things at $100 and everybody is buying their product. And the penetration pricer must maintain its low price position. Otherwise, the price advantage may only be temporary. So like many of the vendors in Sri Lanka, for example, they have this huge problem. Like once they realize that their product is really selling in high amounts, they tend to, like at shorter intervals, they are going to increase the price. That's not going to work out. Okay, just because the demand is high, if you keep on increasing the price of the product at shorter time intervals, then again, they are going to lose faith in your product. They feel like they are being exploited. They are being exploited. Okay, so you should not do that. So if you firmly decide that, okay, I'm going to create a surfboard for $100, then you stick to that price for some time. Okay, couple of years. Then you become the leader. Okay, then maybe you can consider increasing a little bit. Okay, so that's what it says. The penetration pricer must maintain its low price position. Otherwise, the price advantage may only be temporary. Then we have product mix pricing strategy. So you're not just creating one product, you have a mix of products, like there's a line of products. Okay. So when you have a situation like that, then there are some other strategies. The strategy for setting a product's price often has to be changed when the product is part of a product mix. It's part of a product mix, not just single product, isolated single product. Now there is a mixture of products and they might be related to each other, and your product is part of that mix. Then you are going to follow different strategies. So we have like different terminologies here: product line pricing, optional product pricing, captive product pricing, by-product pricing, and product bundle pricing. Okay, so we are going to look at each one of them. Product line pricing. So something that comes to my mind when I say product line pricing is like, for example, you have antivirus software, right? Antivirus software. So there is always a free version, and there is like a premier version, or there are different names. Like if you go to Kaspersky website, for example, Kaspersky has like whole line of antivirus software. Start with the, I think Kaspersky, I don't know whether there is a free version, but they just start with that basic product, and then they keep on adding some features and then charging you more money. So they make sure that they give it a very nice name. So they have like starter, deluxe, premier, home and business. So they have like different pretty names for those. And with all those new names, there is an addition to the price, So sometimes there is a table in their website where they compare the different features available for the free version, then the premium version, deluxe version. Likewise, they compare using tick marks and cross marks. They're going to compare, okay, this version is available in the free, but this version is not available in the free, and this version is available in the premium version. Likewise. So that inside your mind, you feel justified about your decision of paying a higher price to buy that upgraded product. So you feel good. Okay, I'm paying for this new feature. This couple of new features, I'm paying more. So I'm doing okay. I'm not making a mistake, because I'm paying for these much better features. That's the feel good attitude. Like you feel good. Okay, I'm not wasting my money. So they want you to feel like that. So that's the advantage when you have product line, not just one product, a line of products. You're moving from one product to the other one. There's a price step. You increase the price a little bit. From that to the next, another price step. Okay, but what do you think from the side of the company? Do you think it's going to cost them a lot to produce that upgraded version? No, from their side, it's not going to cost them a lot. It's just like they won't even feel it. At the very beginning of introducing this new feature, they might probably have had to hire a new person, or like a couple of people to build some new software. But then after like a couple of months, probably that expenditure has been already covered, right? And then the company is again back to making profits out of that product. But definitely the idea you have to understand is, from the company's point of view, these line of products, when they're upgrading from one product to the other one, it's not going to cost the company a lot. But what they're doing is, from moving from one product to the other, they keep that price step. So that charge more and more money for their different products in their product line. Okay, so this is possible when you have a product line pricing. Then there is optional product price, optional products. So this is very, I can see this very clearly when you go to the website, like for example, Domino's Pizza. So like a couple of months back, when the situation with regard to the COVID-19 was at its peak, for example, now these companies, they had a very hard time. Domino's Pizza, like nobody's going out, so their products are not selling that much. So they keep sending messages to your phones, like there is this huge discount, please order, right? I mean, that just happens. And when you go to their website, you can see like they have this basic product where they have a couple of toppings already added. And they have this couple of sizes as well. And then they have these extra toppings. See, extra toppings. So they have this whole array of extra toppings: black olives, crisp capsicum, onions, mushrooms. For each and every additional topping that you add, I mean, definitely they are going to charge more, right? So most of the time when they present you with this array of options, you feel like, okay, I'm just going to add this 2 new toppings. Maybe I'm going to add some pineapple. Why not some mushrooms? Okay, you feel like doing that. Then that is just, to make you spend some more money. That just tempts you, okay? Persuades you to spend some more money. It's optional product pricing. So many companies optional product pricing. So they give you a couple of options to add some more. Okay, why don't you just, add this one, okay? So, and if you go to a website like a Lenovo, okay, Lenovo, I mean, in Sri Lanka, I think Lenovo does not have a very good reputation, but when I was in US, so when I ordered a Lenovo laptop, I can just go to the Lenovo website and just customize the product according to my needs. So they have a whole host of processors, and you can select the RAM, you can select the type of operating system you want. So you can decide whether to include a GPU or not. So they have a whole host of options, okay? So at each point, this is like a trap, just another instance for you to spend some more money. Okay? Just lures you. Why not add this? This looks so nice. Just add it. Okay. So companies must decide which items to include in the base price and which to offer as options. So they have to they should be intelligent enough to decide what should be in the core product and what should be given as the options. Okay. So if the customer already feels like everything he wants is already in the core product, then they will definitely not go for the options, right? So you must feel like, let the customer feel like 75% satisfied with the core product, or 50%, 60% satisfied with the core product. They are not fully satisfied. So like some of the satisfaction, the rest of the satisfaction is in the options. So they feel like adding a couple of more. Okay. That is optional product pricing. Then you have captive product price. So you have the razor, and then you have the blades. You sell the razor separately. Right? You sell the razor and then the blade separate. The razor only costs you this much, $17.30. But what about the blades? $45.4. But if you buy this, then you're going to have to buy this, right? So that is captive product price. If you buy this, you definitely have to buy this as well. But they're going to sell it separately. So they're going to say our blades, like it only costs you $17.30. But then what about the blades? I mean, if you're going to buy the blades, then you have to pay separately. So that is another strategy, right? They're going to divide the product into a couple of parts, but to perform the function, you're going to need all the parts, but that's a different story, right? Gillette prices fusion racers low, but once you buy the racer, you're a captive customer. You're a captive customer, right? They got you, okay? They got you, and now you have to pay for this one. It's not like you're going to buy this and then you're going to buy the blade separately, buy some big racers and try to push it inside this thing, right? It's not going to work. So if you're going with this, then they are going to buy this one as well. So byproduct pricing. Byproduct pricing. So now you have a really nice product, but in the production process gives rise to some byproducts. I mean, it happens everywhere. There are some parts that will be like, you can't make use of them. They're like waste. Yeah, they are waste. And some companies like just throw them to the environment, and it can cause a huge environmental problem because they might be having a really bad impact on the environment. Because now the company has created the product they want, and there are some byproducts that is waste, and they just dump it into the environment, which can have a bad effect on it can pollute the water, it can pollute the soil, okay? So if you are a good, responsible company, okay, I mean, as a company owner or a manufacturer, you have to be responsible. You have a social responsibility. You can't just create the product and then drop all the garbage that you have generated to a river or something like that and then say, okay, I'm done. Because then you are a very bad human being, okay? Because then we are not being socially responsible at all. So you have to make sure that you are dealing with the waste generated by your production process in a responsible way. You have to have a plan for that as well. How am I going to get rid of the waste that is generated by the process? So to minimize the impact on the environment. And at the same time, sometimes you can sell it. You can sell your byproducts to other companies that might need those products. So although it is a waste product to your company, that might be an input to another company. So some other company is ready to buy these byproducts that are produced by your production process. So you have to find those things like byproducts, then you can sell them, byproduct pricing. So if the byproducts have no value, and if getting rid of them is costly, this will affect the pricing of the main product. Okay. So, I mean, if you have a way to sell your byproducts, then you are making some extra money, right? Then you can even decrease the price a little of your main product as well. Because in the process of creating the main product, you generate some byproducts that you don't use, but you can sell it to something else, some other company, or you can use it to make some new product, something like that. So you add some value to the waste products or the byproducts as well. Okay. Okay, now for example here, cheesemakers in Wisconsin have discovered a use for their leftover brine, a salt solution used in the cheese making process. Instead of paying to have it disposed of, they now sell it to local city and county highway departments, which use it in the conjunction with salt to melt icy roads. Now, for example, in countries like US or in many countries in Europe where there is snow in the winter. So when you get up in the morning, the road is covered in snow, right? And you cannot drive your car on top of snow because it can be quite slippery. Even if you push on the brakes, it will not stop where you want it to stop. It will just slide along and hit the vehicle that is in front. So this salt if you add it to the snow, it will cause it to melt. I mean, that is some science that you already probably know from advanced levels or the O levels. Like if you add some brine or salt to this snow, you can bring the melting point down. So this is a very a frequent scenery, if a person is living in a country in which there is a clear-cut winter. So before people start going taking out their cars and going for their jobs, there is a county vehicle or the city or county vehicle that is going to drop some salt onto the roads to make the snow melt before people start to bring their vehicles to the road. Okay, so if you here they are describing cheese making process where they produce some brine, so they can just give this brine to this city, county, highway department so that they can use it to melt the snow. Okay, so that is making use of your byproducts. They can just sell it to this county highway departments at a reasonable price. Okay, product bundle pricing. Okay, product bundle pricing. Now this is again a very I would say a very being very clever example of being very clever. Like you feel like you are selling a lot of items. Like, I mean, the customer feels like he's buying a lot of items, feels like a huge deal. Okay, so we are not just selling you this, we are selling you this, and this only for just $5.50. So the people feel like, man, this is a lot of food. So paying $5.50, that's okay. So, but if you just individually price these items, you end up paying more money. Although you don't feel like that, what has actually happened is that the company has found a way to make you spend some more money. Okay, from their side, they're making some more buck. Okay, so I have a nice video for this one. I can just share it with you guys. Okay, let me just show it to you. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this one I think is the one. Oh, no, this one. Which one is this? Next time I'll download all these videos. It's taking too much time. Okay. Okay. This is it. Not this one. I think this is one. So what is this?
Hello, in this video, we're going to look at the pricing strategy.
Yeah, not this one. This is the one. Okay.
Hey there, marketing analytics students. In this brief video, we're going to do an introduction to price bundling, a common technique used in marketing and something that we often are concerned with when we want to engage in pricing optimization. First of all, what is price bundling? It's so pervasive, you may not even realize it has its own term. Consider these typical day pass prices for Disney's 2 Disneyland resort areas. Each one will typically cost about $117 a day. Alternatively, of course, you could buy the single-day park hopper ticket, where the purchaser can now bounce back and forth between the 2 parks at their own whim, and that ticket costs $180 per day. This is an example of price bundling. Here's another example of price bundling. A small business that sells office furniture, such as a Herman Miller chair for about $500, an adjustable desk for $700, and an adjustable monitor stand for $200. Some sort of ergonomic bundle kit. If there was a special deal where you could buy all 3 for $1,100, there again, you have a price bundle. Price bundles are everywhere. Quick service restaurants, internet packages, and telecom packages. So why do marketers engage in this price bundling exercise? Well, there's a variety of different motivations, and some of them aren't directly connected to immediate maximization of profits. For example, it may be because the marketer is focused on improving overall customer satisfaction or experience with a core product. So a marketer who sells high-performance video game laptops might recognize that any purchaser of said laptop would need a high-performance gaming mouse to get the most out of the laptop, and it's a relatively low-cost add-on, so they add that into the product itself to help ensure that the customer stays satisfied. Other cases, we do price bundling because we want to clear excess inventory of poor-selling products. So what we're essentially doing is we're using the customer as a way to efficiently deplete our excess inventory of a product that we don't think we can sell. Other cases, we're playing more of a long-term game here, where we're trying to initiate customer trial of a product that they might not yet be interested in. When picking up a new Verizon wireless package for free, Disney Plus is bundled into the actual package. But the real intention here is less about price bundling and actually selling Disney Plus, but rather it's getting people to use Disney Plus, become familiar with Disney Plus, and enjoy using Disney Plus, so that after 1 year they can consumers will start paying for it on an ongoing basis. However, the key motivation of most price bundling exercises in marketing, and the focus of this introduction here, is that we're trying to maximize sales and profits by getting customers to spend more money than they otherwise would have. So let's offer a couple illustrations of when mixed price bundling works to maximize our profits. For the moment here, let's just imagine that marginal costs of selling products is equal or trivial. So let's imagine we have 3 different customers, and we know how much they value 2 different options that we might sell at a baseball game. We might sell a beer and we might sell a hot dog. Customer A values the beer at $12 and the hot dog at $7. Customer B flips. The beer is only worth $7 and the hot dog's worth $13. And customer C values both of them quite high. Now, if we just do a la carte pricing and we set the price to $10, we can quickly calculate consumer surplus and then use that to inference what the consumer will do in terms of actually making a purchase. If our beer price is $10 and the customer values it at $12, they have a surplus of $2 and we assume they'll make a purchase. They won't buy the hot dog because it doesn't leave them better off than just keeping the $10 in their pocket. Customer B does the opposite, and customer C buys both. In total, we make $40 of revenue. We sell 2 beers and 2 hot dogs. Now let's consider the same scenario with the same customers and their valuation, but this time we have a mixed price bundle. We've added in a dog and brew special for $16. Now we can see that customer A actually purchases the dog and brew special because the surplus for that is $3, which is greater than their surplus had they just bought the beer. Customer C buys the dog and brew special because remember, they were going to buy the beer and hot dog anyway, but this time they're very happy because they saved money. We're also happy because our total revenue in this scenario is $48. The bundling enticed people to buy products that they otherwise would not have purchased. Let's lay out that logic just one more time. So when does price bundling?
So I think you guys understood what is done here. So here it's describing like how 3 customers value beer and hot dog. Okay, so customer A thinks that hot dog, for him, hot dog is worth, beer is worth $12. Customer B, beer is worth $7. Like, this is in his mind, okay? In his mind, he thinks like, I'm not going to pay more than $12 for beer. I'm not going to pay more than $7. I'm not going to pay more than 11. And for customer, these three customers, the perception about hot dogs, like hot dog, worth $7, 13, and 11. So there is this option called the, if you go to a hotel, they have it's called the, I'm gonna tell you, like, like, okay, this option, call it a la carte. A la carte means you buy them individually. So you have the a la carte option. Like if you go to a restaurant, you have the a la carte option or the buffet option. Okay. A la carte means you can just purchase them individually. And then based on what you bought, they are going to bill you. Buffet is just, you can get whatever you want for a fixed high price. For a fixed high price, you get whatever you want. But this one, usually you're better off buying the buffet, not going for a la carte. So I just wanted to say like a la carte is like individually. If you want to buy it individually, that's called a la carte. So if you buy these items individually, like the person, like if you start pricing them, if the beer price is 10, then person A, he thought he was going to pay 12. For him, it's like worth 12. So if our price is 10, he's going to buy it. Hot dog, our price is 10, he's not going to buy it. For him, it's only worth $7. So he's not going to buy the hot dog. Customer B, he thinks beer is worth only $7. Our price is 10, so he's not going to buy the beer. B, hot dog is 13, our price is 10, so he's going to buy it. Customer C, he thought both of them worth 11, but our price is 10, so he's going to buy both. So we are going to buy this 10 plus 10, and then 2 10s here, so altogether 40. So now we are going to put in this dog and brew special. Okay, dog and brew special, that is $16. Okay, $16. So all two of them for $16. But now all three of them are going to buy it. All three of them are going to buy it. Now, because now here, like if you look at the valuation they had, in their mind, now buying it for 16 is more profitable for them. Like that is what they think. But total revenue now is $48 from these three customers. Earlier, it was only 40. So from the company's point of view, it's good for the company. Okay, so that's what I wanted to illustrate to you guys, how the price bundle concept can be used to make the customer spend some more money, okay, and make more profit. Okay, so I think you guys understood what I showed here. If you have any questions, if you're confused about what I showed, then let me know. Okay. Okay. You have any questions? No. So now I think we have talked about for like 1 hour. I can give you guys like a small break for like 5 minutes. So now it's 11:53. So we will start at 11:58. Actually, now there is a problem of accessing the LMS. So I will have to, but I think I have already, you guys already have these slides, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then there is no problem. So, yeah, so you can just follow along. So you guys just go through the slides that we already discussed. And if you have any problems in the meantime, you can come up with some problems. So use this 5 minutes, so you have another 4 minutes until 11:58. We will start at 11:58. Okay. So if I went too fast, or if there are any problems with the slides, just use this time to go through it and like, yeah, use it to the way you want it. Okay, so we have a question. Company gives their product with a free product. Which type of pricing it is? So actually we have, so now this is for product mix. These strategies are for mixer. Okay, if you have a line of products, how can you, what are the strategies available? So this bundle price and everything, those are product mix pricing strategies. So you have to have more than one. But in that case, if you have a product with a free product, so it does not fall under these. So you have some other like discount and allowance. Now we have some other sort of pricing models. Now we have a promotion. Okay, so we can there are some other pricing strategies like that. It's like we have some promotions. You can promote the product. Okay. So those are different strategies. You can adjust the price, for example, lower the price or give something else with the product. So that's like a promotion. You promote the product and the selling of the product, and you give something else with the like something free with the product. Okay. So sometimes you get phone calls like that. For example, you can say like, these days we have a promotional offer. If you buy this, we are going to give you this one for like free. Okay, so that's more like a promotion. So that's what I think. So it's a different pricing strategy, not the ones that we discussed. So the ones that we discussed is right now, therefore, like if you have more than one product, so it's a product mix pricing, right? Product mix price. Yeah, for food marketing, like you have to, so the best thing to do is you should do some survey for the type of product. For the type of product, you should like, if you are the person who is starting this new product line, then you should be very careful with like how you are going to invest your money. So it's better to do a survey. How sensitive is your market? Okay, how sensitive is your market in terms of price? Are there already some competitors available? How strong are your competitors? So based on that, you can set a price. But if there are like no competitors, and your product is a brand new concept, and your survey reveals how sensitive your market to price, then based on those details, you can come up with a price. And definitely the lower limit for your price is usually the cost of the product. I mean, you don't want to sell your product at a price that is lower than the cost of your product, right? So that is like the minimum. So you want to add something on top of that. So how much you add on top of your cost depends on these other factors that I just described, like depending on the competitors, how price elastic your market is. So those concepts, okay? So based on those concepts, you have to decide. So definitely depends on the product, actually. Product and like, depends on the market, product and the market, okay? And the competitors. So there are many factors. This is not like mechanics or like Newton's, Newton's law applying, because there are only like F, M, and A. But here it's like more to do with the society. So there are many variables, right? So many variables. So you have to be careful that you take into consideration these different variables. So definitely, so food items, so you can follow the same strategy. Like in any case, make sure that you do some survey before you introduce your product to the market to set the price. Consider all those factors. Okay. I explained the. I think you got what I explained. Okay. So we will move ahead. So price adjustment strategies. So there are some ways in which we can adjust the price. Like, so these are some of the strategies available. So their basic price can be adjusted. Okay. So depending on the situation. So these strategies are covering different situations. Like for example, for people who pay their bills on time, you can give them a small discount. For example, although payment is due within 30 days, the buyer can deduct 2% if the bill is paid within the first 10 days. So there is a bill for a particular service, and the customer is given 30 days to pay that bill. But if the customer pays it within the first 10 days, there is a 2% discount. So something that's a discount. Straight reduction in price on purchases during a stated period of time of larger quantity. So if you buy more than this quantity, then we are going to give you a discount like this. And if you purchase this item before the 30th of October, then we are going to give you this discount. So you get these messages in your phone, like for if you are using your Sampath Bank credit card up to 30th of October for vegetables, you are going to get a 25% discount, things like that. So that's like you have a set of conditions in terms of time, okay, time duration, and how much you spend. Then you can reduce the price. Okay, that is a discount. And then there are allowances, like for example, now there are these Singer TVs. Singer TVs, like when you're going to buy a Singer TV, if you give them an old TV, then they reduce the price of that Singer TV. I think you're quite familiar with that. If you just go to a Singer showroom, they have this price reduction strategy. Give your old TV to them, then they will reduce some price from the new TV, but I think it's only applicable to Singer TVs. So you can't buy like a Panasonic TV by giving a old Singer TV, okay? So promotional money paid by manufacturers to retailers in turn for an agreement to feature manufacturers' products. So you get the idea. I mean, this is just a description. You get the idea. So this is an allowance. Okay, this is a discount. Okay. Then you have segmented price. Segmented instance, for example, if you go to watch a movie, like setting up a seat for you, for each seat is the same price for them. The same cost for them. Cost-wise, it's not gonna like increase the cost from their side, whether they are giving you a front seat or a seat in somewhere in the middle or something like that. So it's the same cost for them. But depending on whether you are getting a front seat or a seat in the balcony, they are going to charge you differently. So that is segmented pricing. And when you go to the museum, there are like from the senior members in the society, they might charge a lower price. And from students, they have a special price that is lower. Then from the others, they are going to charge the regular amount. So that is segmented pricing. And this segmentation is not dependent on the cost. It has nothing to do with the cost. It's just something that's like it finally makes you feel good. It really makes you feel good. Okay. But cost is totally different. Like definitely it's going to cover their cost. And they just want to make you feel like, okay, we are doing something for the society. Now we are charging the senior members of the society less. So see, they are doing a great service. So that kind of idea they want to give to the society. So even that reduced price, at that reduced price, they are going to make a profit. Okay. So you get the idea. But at the same time, they make you feel good about the service. Okay, so I mean, always like when you go, if your school organizes a trip to the museum, then the schools get a discount price. Okay, so likewise, I mean, discount in the sense that is again here it is a segmented price. Segmented means you break it up into segments. Different segments in the society. Okay, does not have to be always segments in the society. Some sort of segmentation is there. Okay, so theaters vary their seat prices because of the audience preference for certain locations. Okay, so certain locations in the movie theater, they have different importance for different people. For example, if a couple wants to watch a movie, they might pick a particular seat. So they know, they do these surveys. Then depending on that, they assign the prices. Okay. So it's just all a psychological game from their side. Okay. Okay. So now there is psychological pricing. Okay, psychological pricing. Now people feel like, okay, now they have like, now we have this concept called, if the price is very low, then there must be something wrong with the product. If the price is very low, then there must be something wrong with the product. We have this general concept, lao badu hila. Yeah, I mean, so we always like, we tend to be very, cynical, like, I don't know, skeptical about the quality of the product when the product price is considerably low. Sometimes the person might want to do something, that person want to do something good for the society. But in general, we believe that there are no people like that. Everybody wants to make a profit. So if this guy is selling it for this kind of price, then there must be something wrong. Okay. So for those people, this pricing strategy works. Okay. So if you're paying $100 for a bottle of perfume, and if you are gifting it to the girlfriend, and if the girlfriend so you give the price to the girlfriend, and sorry, you give the perfume to the girlfriend, and once you leave the house, the girlfriend is going to Google how much is this price online, the price of this perfume online. So then she is like, okay, now this costs like $100. Oh, this is really good. And then you feel good about that, right? It's a really good brand. So, that's the conception in the society. And if she Googles online and she comes across the price as only $5, okay, $3.5. Like, is this how much I'm worth to you? Something like that. Okay. So people sometimes, depending on the price of the product, they're going to say, okay, this is a good product. This is a bad product. So if you are like at an extreme in that kind of thought process, then there are companies in the market who are going to make use of your thought process to make some money. Okay. So because most of us, like, we think like, if you are paying a higher price, then the product must be better. Product must be better. Okay. So that is psychological pricing. So based on that, like, there are certain strategies. So people have identified, like, through research, when there is a price tag, the people who look at the price tag are more sensitive about the number towards the left-hand side, not toward the right-hand side. So it's like $10 and $9.99. It feels like a huge difference. $1.99. It feels like a huge difference, because the left-hand number is 0. And like, they have done some thorough research on this. It's just completely psychological. That is why they keep on showing us this bunch of 9s. Okay. Because it has been well established that people only look at the number on the left-hand side. So, I mean, I have a video for this, so I can just show it to you. Okay. Where is this? Yeah, I think, yeah. This one, I think this will be a good one.
Is a marketing strategy where prices are expressed in a way that appeals more to consumers. It aims at appealing to a customer's emotional side. Psychological pricing is one of the reasons for the formation of price points. That is, prices at which demand for a given product is supposed to stay relatively high. There are two forms of psychological pricing: charm pricing and prestige pricing. Let's have a look at charm pricing first. Charm pricing involves reducing the left digit of a price by 1. It is a popular psychological pricing strategy that retailers use all over the world. For example, instead of selling a shirt for $40, you set the price at $39 or $39.99. Marketing experts say that this 9 ending is effective because consumers tend to pay less attention to the rightmost digits. Charm pricing is an effective psychological pricing strategy as well. A 2005 study found that consumers perceived a 1-cent discount from $10 to $9.99 as greater than a 1-cent increase from $10 to $10.01. If the leftmost digit changes to a lower level and the price ends in 9, consumers see that as a reduction in price that is greater than it really is. Prestige pricing is the practice of setting prices higher than normal because lower prices will have a negative impact on sales. This strategy works by attracting customers who associate higher prices with superior quality. Companies like Nike, Rolex, Rolls-Royce, and Armani sell their products at higher than normal prices. People associate their products with quality. Among the psychological pricing strategies, prestige pricing adds exclusivity to the product. This strategy can appeal to certain customers. Luxury clothing brands use prestige pricing because their customers value the association with the brand and are willing to pay the relatively high prices of their products.
So I think you guys, students, so there are two types. There is charm pricing, okay, and then prestige, right? Prestige pricing is for like luxury products like the Rolls-Royce cars and these other Chanel, the expensive brands, right? Like we have this Hermes. So there are two types. One of them is this charm pricing, and the other one is the charm pricing is like this 99 thing. Okay, so you pay more attention to the number on the left and less attention to the number on the right. So rather than saying $10, it's better to say $9.99. That is one thing. So I mean, this is just taken from the internet for some shops in Sri Lanka. So they have their prices like this. Okay, 3,999. The other one is you're paying a lot of money to certain brands because of the brand name. Now the Rolls-Royce car, definitely they will not be, the cost of making that car might be much less than that. Okay, much less than that. But they don't want to price it at a lower amount because they know they have worked hard to gain that reputation for Rolls-Royce. So their reputation, which we will learn later, that is called the brand equity. How much is your brand worth? Brand equity. So that brand, for that brand equity, it's going to add some more money. So it's going to add some more money to the price. So it's going to increase the price because of the brand equity. That brand is a very popular brand. It's an expensive brand. So you are paying for that brand as well. Okay, you're paying for the product and for the brand. Otherwise, I mean, we know that the Casio watch will just keep on running for years and years, and the price is not that high. Keeps time well, but if you go for something like Armani, for the same price, you can buy like 3-4 Casio watches. Okay, but you feel good because you have bought a product that is a very famous brand. Okay, promotional pricing, I think this is quite straightforward. So this is a temporarily reduced price. Okay, sometimes even below cost to create buying excitement and urgency. Okay, so for example, if the Windows, like this happened when Windows, Microsoft was introducing Windows 10, because they wanted everybody to shift from Windows 8 or 8.1 to Windows 10. So they had some promotional pricing at the very beginning of the introduction of Windows 10. Okay, so they just wanted customers to move to this new version because they had so many products waiting in line that were targeted at Windows 10. So first thing that had to happen was users shifting from Windows 8.1 to 10. Then to make that happen, they had some promotional pricing. Okay, so that's what it says here. For example, to encourage consumers to convert to its Windows 10 operating system, Microsoft ran an easy trade-up promotion, offering buyers $200 trade-ins on their old devices when purchasing new Windows 10 PCs costing $599 or more at the Microsoft Store. So this was a promotion. Okay, so it's a promotional pricing to make a particular thing happen. Customers switch to Windows 10. Geographical pricing. So I mean, this is something that the company has to decide whether they are going to charge for transportation or they are going to have a fixed price. Okay, so depending on the geography, depending on the transportation cost, you can arrange some pricing. So there is a free on board pricing. Free on board pricing, basically the shipping cost is paid by the customer. So for example, if I want to give a birthday present for someone, let's say sister in Australia. So through Amazon, I'm going to send it. So if you are going to do it through Amazon, you have to pay for the transportation charges as well. That is shipping cost also you have to pay. Sometimes if you are sending a book, for example, the book may be less expensive than the shipping cost. So shipping is more expensive than that. Okay. Uniform delivery pricing. So regardless of the location, you have a flat shipping fee. Okay. So you have to decide as a company which kind of geographical pricing scheme you are going to use. Okay. So that is geographical pricing. A company decide how to price its product for customers located in different parts of the world. If you are just selling it in the town area, then there is this concept, geographical pricing will not come into play. But if you have different branches or network in different regions, okay, then this geographical pricing will come into play. Okay, because you need to consider. So for example, Kapruka.com. Okay, Kapruka.com, they guarantee that wherever you are in the country, they are going to deliver. They are going to deliver. And the delivery charges, they vary depending on how much they have to travel, right? But some companies are there, they are going to charge you a flat fee. It does not matter where you are in the country, charge a flat fee. Okay, so you have to know, have to do the calculation, do the math and decide which strategy you are going to follow and how much profit can you make. Okay. Okay. Dynamic and online pricing. So dynamic pricing is again, now when you start the day, now the economic situation in the country might be different from how it is going to end at night. Okay. Within a day, the economics of the country can change. The economic factors in the country or in the market can change with time. So dynamic pricing says depending on how the market demand, market factors fluctuate, there is a pricing formula that they have come up with. So depending on how it fluctuates within the day as well. This is 3 p.m., this is 12 a.m. So their formula considers certain factors, and that when that input changes, that their price changes. So even within the day, the price they get at 3 p.m. is different from the price at 12 a.m. That's dynamic price. Okay. So it's not a fixed price. The price fluctuates depending on the market factors. So that is what is called dynamic pricing. So there are certain software, for example, which you can install in your phone. So you just have to scan a code. So you just go to the shop or scan a code, then because on the product itself, it is not going to tell you how much the price is. On the product itself, they are not going to tell you how much the price is. So using that software, you are going to scan that code. Then at that particular time of the day, it is going to give you how much it costs. So if you check that same product's price 5 hours later, that cost might be different because the market factors are different. So that is the dynamic pricing strategy. Okay. So I don't think in Sri Lanka, this is not very common, but in other countries, this dynamic pricing strategy is in use. So even within a given day, the price fluctuates. Okay. Now this is for beer, different types of beer, Bud Light, Color, Coors Light, and Miller Light. Okay. So how the prices of beer fluctuates. See, lowest price at 7 p.m. The price is lowest at 7 p.m. Highest price is at, this is for this product, Coors Light. 5 p.m. highest price. So likewise, okay. Okay, dynamic price. So this is what I told you. Scan it, snap it, save, type it, and buy it. So you just have to scan the code. Scan the code, and then it will tell you how much it is going to cost you at that moment. Okay. So there are different softwares you can install to your phone. Then you have international pricing. International pricing, of course, depends on the economic situation of the country. Now, you have like the McDonald's, the headquarters, they're in United States, right? So, but it is selling McDonald's, like Big Macs, for example, Big Macs. Big Macs, you can buy it even in countries like Norway or Finland or Sri Lanka or different countries, right? So the exact price that you have to pay for a Big Mac in US is not the same. Like it's not going to be that same amount in a different country because that economic situation in that country is different. So based on that, you have to decide on the price for that particular country. Okay, because that depends on the tax rates and everything. So you have to include everything in that price. Okay? So there is international pricing. So you have to be careful. You can't sell the same product at the same price in different countries. Okay. So here there's an example. Travelers are often surprised to find that product price tags vary greatly from country to country. For example, thanks to Chinese import tariffs and consumption taxes, Western luxury goods bought in mainland China carry prices as much as 50% higher. 50% higher than in Europe. Because like in China, they want to discourage, they want to deter people from importing things. They want to promote their own products. So they have a huge import tariff. So if you are going to buy some expensive branded product from China, most probably you have to pay a couple of times higher the price than it is sold in the original country. Okay, because of the import tariffs. Like the same thing has happened for like cars in Sri Lanka. Like we are paying like 300% tax on cars. Okay, so in Emirates a couple of years ago, Toyota Yaris was like 2.2 million. 2.2 million. But when it comes to Sri Lanka, it's like 6.6 million. Okay. So there's a huge, now it has skyrocketed, of course. Now it is, I think it's more than almost 10 million or more than 10 million. You try to buy even like a mid-range car like Yaris. Okay. So not to talk about the Rovers, Land Rovers and the Range Rovers. Okay. So you get the idea, right? Depending on the charges of taxes and everything, the price can change. Okay. So that sort of brings us to the end of the pricing section. So next we are going to talk about product. Okay, product section. So we're going to start with brands and products. Okay. So I mean, first you have to have a product, right? I mean, otherwise there's nothing to talk about. Okay, but price I thought was more important to discuss first and easier. So I talked about price. So, but definitely you need to have a product, right? And what comes hand in hand with product is the brand. It's a very important concept. Like I told you a couple of minutes ago, brand is the most important asset of a company. Okay, brand is the most important asset for a company. So it's not like how many warehouses, how many buildings that your company own, or how many trucks you have for transportation. The main asset you have is your brand. If your brand has a bad name, bad reputation, then it's going to be very, it's going to have a huge inferior effect on your company. Okay. So what is not a brand? So before talking about what is a brand, let's look at what is not a brand. So there are certain identities, like certain characteristics that can differentiate one brand from another. Like for example, the logo. The logo will differentiate one brand from another, but that logo is not the brand itself. Logo is not the brand itself. Or the corporate colors, they are not the brand itself. The mascot or product or company name, they are not the brand itself. So brand is not so many things. Brand is something, but what is not a brand, you should also understand. Because these are very important. Indeed, they are important to identify or differentiate your brand from another brand. But what defines a brand is not those logos or the mascots alone. Okay. So brand is not a tangible thing. Tangible means something that can be touched. Okay. Something that can be touched. So brand is not actually a tangible thing. That is what it says here. It's a concept. So you cannot touch a concept, right? It's not something that you can touch. It's a concept. It's something that exists in your mind. So brand it has the same situation. Brand is not a tangible thing. It's a concept. It exists in the mind of the customer. Okay. So there are different opinions from different people about the brand. The brand is a person's gut feeling about a product, service, or a company. Okay. So like, you know what it means by gut feeling, like what you really feel about that product in your mind. When you hear the name of that brand, okay? When you hear something like certain product name, you get some idea, bunch of images pop up in your mind when you hear that name. That is the brand, okay? Brand is a singular idea or concept that you own inside the mind of a prospect. So it's all mental, okay? A promise wrapped in an experience. So some are like a little bit different from the others. So these are opinions of different people about the concept of brand. The set of characteristics that arise in a customer's mind when that person hears your name. Yeah, that's more like it. A container for a customer's complete experience with the product or company. See, it's about the experience. Like when you hear a name, those images pop up in your mind about your previous experience. What kind of like facilities did you have? What was your experience like? Was it a difficult product to deal with? Or did it make your life so comfortable? Okay. Methodical influence on the creation of beliefs in the consumer's mind. So see, like there's something common about all these ideas. It's like it's not a tangible thing. You cannot touch it. It is something that exists in the mind of the customer. When the customer hears the name of your product or the name of your company, okay, the mental pictures that pop up in his or her mind, they define your brand. Okay, it's a purely mental thing. Okay. So this is another definition. The brand is a name, term, sign, symbol, or so the American Marketing Association, that's how they see it. Okay, this might be a little contradictory, but we said like it's not only a name, not only a term, not only a sign. It is something that exists in the mind of the customer about you, about your company, about your product. A brand is your customer's perception of you. But the customer thinks about you. It is an intangible concept. It cannot be touched. Your audience's emotions and feelings towards you. As Marty Newman has famously said, so Marty Newman is like a person who has written a couple of books on brand, okay, marketing books. A brand is not what you say it is what they say it is. It's not what you say it is as the manufacturer. It is what they say it is as the customers. So how valuable is the brand? Brand is the most valuable asset to any company. It's the driving force. And like usually when strong brands, when they make mistakes, people forgive them. But if it is a weak brand, you're gone for good. You're not allowed to make any mistakes. If you are a weak brand, one mistake and you're out of the market. But for example, just think about Kapruger. You might not even remember that they used to charge like in the colloquial terms, they got caught red-handed with some form of black market methodology, right? Couple of like 1.5 years back, I think. But everything is back to normal. People don't even remember that because like Kapruger was like a very strong brand. So people forgave them. So with strong brands, people give a couple of chances. If your brand is weak, one mistake and you're gone. Okay. And it takes years to establish a brand. A lot of effort. Okay. So I have like a video. I can see. You guys can have an idea. Okay, so we are going to see this one. It's only 4 minutes.
What is a brand? A brand is the difference between a pair of running shoes and a pair of Nikes. A brand is what people feel about you, your product, the service you provide, or your organization. It's part rational, but mostly emotional. People will forgive a strong brand if it makes a mistake. Remember New Coke? Likewise, people won't forgive a weak brand if it makes a mistake. Remember Gateway Computers? We thought so. So, what is the secret of a strong brand? The answer is surprisingly simple. Focus. I'll say it again. Focus. Great brands stand for something. Not a lot of things, One thing. For decades, Swedish car maker Volvo defined their brand with a single word: safety. Well, it seemed to work for them. Sometimes you have to think beyond the category to know what you stand for. Harley-Davidson makes motorcycles. Want to guess what they stand for? Freedom. Not a more powerful engine, not a more reliable bike or a smoother ride. Freedom. Brands are experiential. Take Starbucks. They differentiate themselves in many ways and offer a consistent brand experience in every Starbucks you visit. They even have their own language. Starbucks has created a unique community of coffee lovers that speak Starbucksese and are true brand ambassadors. It doesn't get any better than that. Starbucks had realized they weren't in the business of serving coffee. They were in the business of serving people. So, can you put a monetary value on a brand? The people at Interbrand Research can. Remember the fine folks at Coca-Cola we mentioned earlier? Care to guess what their brand is worth? That's right. According to Interbrand, about 61% of the value of the Coca-Cola Corporation is brand. That's a lot of cash. Here's the monetary value of some other brands you'll be familiar with. So a brand is worth protecting and nurturing. But how? Here are a few key points to help maintain or even grow your brand. 1. Be different. The world is filled with parody products and services. Make yours stand out. 2. Be vigilant. Don't allow your brand to do things it shouldn't. Don't be the gateway computers of your category. 3. Be relevant. The marketplace changes constantly. Make sure your brand keeps up. So, who really owns a brand? The brand manager? The VP marketing? Brands are owned by the people. It used to be a company would tell people about their brand. It was pretty much a one-way thing. Now, it is much more of a conversation. But don't worry, this instant feedback can be very useful. It gives you a glimpse into what's in the hearts and minds of your customers and allows you to take action when you need to. It can also help you stay focused, and that's a good thing. So let's recap. A brand is much more than your logo or the color of your truck fleet. It's something intangible. It's what people think of you, but mostly on an emotional level. Great brands are focused. They stand for something. Great brands are not just seen and heard, they're experienced, and in a way that is uniquely theirs. A brand can have tremendous value and should be treated that way. Keep your brand healthy by being different, vigilant, and relevant. And finally, never forget that people, your customers, own your brand. Listen to them, respect them, most of all, earn their trust.
Okay, I think you guys have a good idea about brand, the concept of brand. Now, branding is like, it's a concept that your customers have about you. So that is the bottom line about what a brand is, okay? So how valuable is the brand? And I think I showed you, like you saw in that video, the worth of certain brands like Microsoft, they're like huge, right? So this CEO of Quaker Oats, if this business was split up, I will give you the land and bricks and mortar. I would keep the brand and trademarks, and I would fare better than you. So that explains, like, he's willing to give everything else, but not the brand, because the brand is very important. If every asset we own, every building and every piece of equipment were destroyed in a natural disaster, we would be able to borrow all the money to replace it very quickly because of the value of our brand. So still, even if all of the buildings are destroyed, a bank will not hesitate to lend money to a company that has a strong brand. So they can start over from the very beginning. Okay, the brand is more valuable than the totality of all these assets. Now, where does this name come from? Origination of the term brand comes from this Norwegian term brander, meaning to burn, like, you know, branding this cattle, for example, to burn something into their skin. That is how this name brand came into being. And once you have a brand, you can register your brand in the whatever the trademark law that prevails in the country, so that others cannot use the same trademark, same name, things like that. Okay. And there is one definition which says a brand is a promise. Marketers promise to deliver a specific set of features, benefits, and services consistent to the buyers. But the definition that you keep in your mind is brand is the customer's conception about the company. When the company's name is heard by the customer, what the customer feels about the company, that is the brand. Brands vary in the amount of power and value they have in the marketplace. Some brands are not known while the others are known global. Okay. So, like, for example, like sometimes without the brand name, people might be having a hard time to differentiate between the product even. Like, these are some of the best global brands. Now, each year this order and things change. Then this is for 2019. You can go to this website, Interbrand, where you can get the latest. So I think I have this open somewhere. Interbrand, yes. So best brands. So you go to their website. They are the best global brands. Now they have updated the list for 2020. So each year they have, they update their list. Okay. So these are the best brands for 2020. Still Apple is at the front. Then Amazon, Microsoft. Number 4, Google, 5, Samsung, 6, Coca-Cola, and then 7, Toyota, 8, Mercedes-Benz, 9, McDonald's, and 10, Disney. Okay, so you can get an idea about the brand names and like how much they are worth. So you see is $165,444 million. That is how the Google brand name is worth. Okay, so so I think yeah, so we have finished on price section and we have started the product section. So we can continue from this point onwards from next week. No, I mean, we have tomorrow, right? So we can do starting from tomorrow. Continue from where we start. Okay, then in the meantime, you can, since you have the slides and everything. Oh, the product, the slideshow for the product section, I will give it to the demonstrator, and I think she can distribute it among you guys so that you can follow along with the lesson. Okay. So thank you very much for joining. So you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.